Yeah, I know that the global theme is on deforestation or reforestation, but we took this topic of marine and blue economy because we wanted something that affects us directly or can impact on us directly. And so first and foremost, I want to thank my colleagues in NES who deemed it right to ask me to be the first distinguished lecturer for the distinguished lecture series. I feel very humbled and grateful to you. I have quite a number of slides. I'm going to run through them quickly so I don't make it boring for you. Oh, my staff from the Office of the Deputy Governor, I recognize all of you. They're eyeing me and winking at me. Sorry, I recognize it very especially. Yeah, okay, so I do hope that the slides will show properly. Bold enough for you to see. Okay. Okay, so the outline that we have, we'll quickly run through an introduction, tell us what marine economy assets are, the case studies, River State, and all that. We run down all that. Okay, good. So today, we gather to explore a topic of paramount importance: marine and blue economy assets as pillars of industrial development in River State. As you know that all these years we never had a Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. For the federal government, for the president to create a ministry of that underscores the importance of what we're going to hear today. It underscores the importance of blue economy in our country. The blue economy recognizes the oceans as vital drivers of economic development, offering opportunities across various sectors, including fisheries, maritime transport, renewable energy, and tourism. The ocean is the new frontier for sustainable growth and development. Why do we say that? Before we had the green gold. Green gold was the agrarian age when everything depended on agriculture. Our granite pyramid, our palm kernel oil, etc. Cocoa and all the rest of it. Then we moved on from there to the black gold. That is the crude oil and gas. And now we are looking into the blue gold, which is the blue economy. So River State is endowed with strategic location along the coastal region and abundant marine resources. It is well positioned to embrace the marine and blue economy as a catalyst for the industrial transformation. You would know that emphasis is being laid that we should move away from mono economy to multiple economy. Because when you have a mono economy, it can be frustrating. What you see on the screen now is a summary of everything that has to do with blue economy. It starts from the transportation, here you see the boats, you see the women and men, that is to say it's all inclusive. You see the energy, renewable energy there, you see the windmill, and then there is a there is a hand lens there, that is surveillance to catch people who fish illegally. You have people dropping things and all the rest of it, the fish and the lovely meal. So everything has to do with blue economy. That is the summary there. So we're looking at the blue marine and blue economy, the assets. What are the assets? What do we think will be the natural assets for us? We have the water resources. You find that people always struggle to be by the waterfront, to be by the coastal and littoral regions, because the assets they have is enormous and beyond what people can just quantify. So bodies of water, including rivers, lakes, and coastal waters, essential for transportation, fisheries, and recreational activities. And for us, we have a lot of rivers within River State, a lot of rivers, a lot of riverlets, and of course the ocean that is there by the coast. So it is a great water resource asset. We have mineral resources. Under the water mineral deposits such as our oil, the crude oil, the gas, the sand, the gravel, they all a great source of energy sector and building materials. We have the coastal ecosystem, the mangroves, the fishes, the fish beds, the coral reefs, and all the rest of it. So here we're looking at some of those resources. You see the people mining the sand, you see the waterways, and all the rest of it. Then we look at biological assets, fisheries, including commercial fish stock, sustenance, and aquaculture, etc., etc. We look at biodiversity, the variety of marine species that contribute to ecosystem balance, that support fisheries, and offer potential for pharmaceutical and genetic resources. You'll be wondering, these are some of our resources. You see all the seafood, the crustaceans. You see this one will have the fin fish, the fish itself. They're all very available in our environment. Then we'll look at that when we talk about pharmaceuticals, you'll be wondering, what does marine environment, what does it have to do with pharmaceuticals? As we go there later, you're going to see. But let me just mention in passing that our mangrove trees, the bark, they use them for treatment. The mud, they use them for treatment, the black mud you see. And then even the nipa palm can also be used in pharmaceuticals. So we are really blessed. So we have industrial assets, we have the ports and the shipping facilities, we have the maritime industries, we have tourism infrastructure, the beaches and all that. I need to rush so that we can just grab. These are the ports we have. Port Harcourt Port, One Port, Abonima Wharf, the LNG loading port. So we're really, really equipped for a blue economy. Human capital assets, we have the workforce, skills and knowledge of the local population in marine and coastal industries. We have research and education facilities, like in RSU, they have a Department of Marine Engineering and other marine facilities that people can go and acquire skills. We have cultural and recreational assets, the cultural heritage sites, historic landmarks that people can come and visit and develop them to the extent that they can be a source of revenue generation. We have technological assets, innovations and patents, when you do something special that other people can copy from you. But first and foremost, let's quickly look at some case studies from developing countries so that we can take a cue from there and build up on ours and improve our status. If we look at Bangladesh, I'll just take a few points to save time. Bangladesh is a nation with a thriving coastal region, has made significant strides in embracing the blue economy. Through the blue economy, they've been able to generate jobs for people. If you see item 3, it's a fishery sector alone employs over 17 million people, accounting for nearly 4.39 of the country's total export earnings. So you go down a bit. So another good example is Bangladesh's sustainable fisheries and aquaculture management project that cost $215 billion, a World Bank initiative, which means we can attract funds if we have such designs and such wonderful situations. This is a summary of what goes on in Bangladesh, from the establishment of the industries to employment and contributions to GDP. We look at Tanzania. Tanzania is in Africa. How does that flow with what we have? So her experience offers valuable insights into the power of strategic investments in the marine and blue economy sectors by focusing on port modernization and development of its marine tourism sector. In some countries, they don't have minerals. All they depend on Maldives. Maldives is just by the side of Africa. What do? They don't have oil, they don't have gas. All they have is their ocean. All they have is their water. All they have, they use it for marine tourism, and they're generating huge amounts of money annually for that. So if we look at the last item there, according to the World Travel and Tourism Council in Tanzania, the travel and tourism sector in Tanzania contributed to 10.7% to the country's GDP in 2019, highlighting the significant economic impact of sustainable tourism initiative. I just want to mention in passing that Dubai or Emirates, they have little oil, but what they have conserved the money from that and focused on tourism. They have so developed their tourism that almost all global conferences and activities, sporting events, they go there because they combine the event with tourism. So tourism is a thing we must focus, especially marine tourism. Okay, so we'll look at Tanzania, their marine tourism center. Look at it, it's nothing too out of this world. All they have is just a beautiful beach, and they have dugout boats and a few flying boats to take people around within the water. With that alone, people travel to the place to have fun. And by so doing, they improve on the economy of the country. I just ask us a question. Have you ever participated in a beach cleanup or ocean conservation effort? I thank our colleagues that went to do some planting of mangroves and all that. It's all part of what we're talking about, participating in ocean conservation efforts. You find out that our people may not think that this is a thing. This exercise was being sponsored by one of the countries overseas. They encourage you because if you have a clean beach, then you will attract people. So next time you're around the beach, if it's not too clean, get people to lend hands to you to make it clean. We'll look at Indonesia. Indonesia is a country made up of too many other small countries, towns together. They are rich in marine heritage, and the country approach has been to prioritize sustainable development of its marine fisheries and aqua industries, establishing these sectors as economic pillars. When you look at it as an economic pillar, then you do things, innovative things that would help you to really showcase what you have. The aquaculture alone has experienced a remarkable growth rate of 8.2% annually. 8.2 is a lot. And this is driven by robust government policies and private sector investment. So you see here government and private sectors pull their hands together to do something that is really, really impressive. Now we look at River State. We say the present dynamics and potentials of the state. So it is evident that our marine resources and current industrial landscape present many untapped opportunities. We'll just see the water and we look at it as if it's just to travel, get back from one point to the other. Our state boasts of a vast coastline and inland areas, providing a vast range of assets from maritime activities, fisheries, etc., to marine renewable energy assets. So we have to look into that, see how we can improve on what we have to the extent that it will attract people to come here for tourism. However, to truly harness the full potentials of our maritime and blue economy assets, we must address existing challenges such as inadequate infrastructure, environmental degradation, and limited investment in capacity building and skill development. So we need to consciously do something about that. Boosting sustainable fisheries and aquaculture. By drawing lessons and successes of nations like Bangladesh and Indonesia, we can revitalize our fishing industry through sustainable practices, enhance processing capabilities, and adoption of innovative technologies. Most of the dried fish they sell, the vegetables, you see that most of them come from Ghana. So why can't we think beyond just having sustenance, just cook and buy what we eat? Let's think of export. It's when you can send this out that the country can begin to grow. Let us be inspired by Tanzania's experience. This is their port. It's been fully modernized. So we can go from where we are and grow bigger and achieve more. So these investments will facilitate trade and commerce, attract foreign direct investments, and create employment opportunities, because when you can attract investment, you find out that the country will grow. Here is a shipping operation in One seaport. If you look at this, if you don't have that caption, you will think it's Singapore that you're seeing. What we're trying to say is that we have the competence, we have the environment to grow beyond where we are now. That's an airport, which can get bigger. Then we think of transport and logistics operations in sea areas. We'll have the ship, of course, that's for international. We have the dugout boats, we'll have the flying boats. But if we're able to have little islands, people that ferry people from one point to the other will generate money. People that sail around there will generate money. People that give them rides in flying boats to see how the tributaries are will generate money. By so doing, we're building the economy of the state and of the individuals. Okay. We're talking about harnessing opportunities in the transport and logistic operations. There's so many, I don't know if it's high enough for you to see. I'll just take a few. With the establishment of a new Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy in Rivers State to shake hands with the federal ministry, it will be a good idea to do that, because we are very well situated to harness that. I bet you there are a lot of global funds that can come for things like that, and I think we should leverage on that. We should encourage PPP to leverage private sector expertise and investment in developing maritime infrastructure and services. In the just past summit, economic summit that we had, that was conceived by His Excellency Sasimnala Ifubar, part of it had to do with blue economy. They talked about things that can be done, things that can be achieved. And in the process, there was an issue about having dry docks. And they said our ship, the ship that load our LNG products, they can't do a turnaround in Nigeria. They have to go all the way to South Africa. And if you know the amount of hundreds of millions of dollars they spend. So if we had, as part of our development, dry docks within Nigeria, that will be done inside. And then if we have dry docks that do turnarounds, it can provide employment of over 20,000 people. The experts are ready to partner with Rivers State, and we do believe that they will take it beyond the drawing board, and we can begin to experience wonderful PPPs. So we can also leverage on natural beauty, marine biodiversity by developing eco-friendly tourism that will be as guided marine wildlife tours. So we can take people to see where they can find turtles, they can take people to see where they can see dolphins and all that. In one of the pictures, you will see where they were able to catch dolphins in Ecoters, and people were excited about it. So things like that can open up doors for us. We talk about promoting ecotourism and marine conservation efforts. Our state is rich in marine diversity and coastal landscapes that offer immense potential for sustainable tourism. So, I mean, there is an island that is off Dubai, all they do is marine tourism. You go there, their water is so clean, you can see the bottom of the water as you're looking at it. And all they do, they just carry it in a boat, and you dive down just to see what is beneath the surface water that is there. We can begin to develop things like that. I was impressed when I saw it's a Good Life beach, but unfortunately the Lagos Calabar Road is going to destroy their beach. Is beautiful. Nothing too expensive, yet you can appreciate what is there. You would love to go spend holidays on the place. They had from shopping malls to everything. It looked very impressive. So those are the kind of things that we're saying that can be done in Rivers State. Here is fishing festival in Ecoters. Apparently, Ecoters is in Andoni local government. And it used to be a small fishing port, but right now it has so grown that it's the largest fish settlement in West Africa. So, and here in Rivers State. So what we need to do, we harness on that. We do two things. Use it for ecotourism, in terms of people coming to watch the festival. We also use it for export. They can now have a little industry where the fish products can be processed, properly packaged, and exported to other West African countries and beyond. Anthony Beach, they have carnival once a year around Christmas area. It attracts people from all over Nigeria. And it is, I think that is what I appreciate it. Oh, clap for Anthony people. So that's why we are now saying, how many of you have ever been to the ocean and engaged in ocean-related activities? You can ask yourself. Before that, some people have a phobia of being in the water. But now, with the previous governments, starting from Sir Dr. Peter Odili, all the governors that passed, to the present governor, they've been able to link up most of the riverine communities by road. So that fear, that phobia should no longer be there. You can get to Anthony by road. You can get to Oyorokoto by road. And Bonny is almost being hooked up now. They are the Bori corner end or Bori end. One of the Kana, they just across the bridge. So when that is border, yeah, thank you very much. They are the border end. When they hook up the bridge, you can also get to Bonny by road. So we have networks that can help us to facilitate what we're doing. When we talk about beaches, it doesn't matter, it can be crude, but it's good to start from somewhere. I remember when we were growing up, they know I'm very old now, but like 30, 40 years ago, Isaka used to have a beautiful beach. And people used to go there every Sunday, take their families, and it was fun. You know, but now it's run down. So those are the kind of things that we can revive. Because people that will ferry you with boat from Port Harcourt across to Isaka, they will make a living. People that will sell food in the food court, create a good, wonderful food court that people can go poly and anything, they will feel happy, have music. There is this, I've forgotten his name, one great musician that eventually died, has died. But he goes there, he plays music, they have people that do drama and all the rest of it. And for each point, it would be nice, pay a little token, and use it to generate revenue, both for the people and for the state. This picture you're seeing is Port Harcourt Beach. Port Harcourt Beach, they're very active on Sundays. But when we took the pictures, the party hadn't started. But that's Port Harcourt Beach. All we could do is improve on it, make the beach bigger, and make it more friendly. So when we now look at investigating renewable energy, we're trying to go green with energy. We're trying to do things that will not add pollution to our environment and to ourselves. So they now look at, because in Holland and all the areas, what people try to do is to do renewable energy, mount on these windmills. And with our type of rivers and oceans, the water, the waves that they produce, it's enough to keep the windmills blowing and generating energy. And that's why it says that we can explore the potential of harnessing renewable marine energy, such as offshore wind, tidal, and wave power. So we could do that, so that everything will not necessarily be depending on the NEPA and all that. So it will be more cleaner energy for us. Then we look at factors affecting marine and blue economy of River State. They are in everything. When you see the good, there's bound to be the bad. You look for it and try to find solutions to them. So we look at one aspect. You have industrial waste. People mentally think that because it's by the river, it doesn't matter, nobody is checking. Empty anything you have, and it's very detrimental. So some companies still do that. I'm not talking about you. I'm just making a general statement, because I know even the people that do minerals and all that, they do that. They empty, some of them, I'm not generalizing, they empty their waste without treatment. So what we need to do is to set up a monitoring unit that, at least from time to time, although I know some students do researches, they do researches and find out things that can be a bit disturbing. in terms of heavy metals, in terms of bacteria, pathogenic bacteria that are found in these waters. So that is one thing that can be an impediment. So we'll look at oil pollution, we'll look at Nipah palm, we'll look at the use of dynamite for fishing. Oil pollution, this is one. Sometimes it can be oil pollution, sometimes it's spillage, sometimes it's as a result of the bullfire, should I say, pilfering of the crude when they bust the pipes and all the rest of it. What happens is it devastates our marine environment. The mangroves wood and the Nipah palms, they will just die. You can't go there. You can't even harvest fish and fish products from the areas. So we must intentionally develop a strategy that would at least minimize or reduce oil contamination of our soils. Although in some areas you have them having remediations, you have them having planting things that can utilize the hydrocarbons and all that. But it has to be intentionally designed to control that. This is what the oil thing does as well on the coastal regions of Rivers State. These pictures were taken last week. So we'll look at something that can also hamper the marine environment, the impact of Nipah palm trees. For me, I do ask myself the question, is it a curse? Is it a blessing? I think it's both ways. We'll find that originally the Nipah palm were not found here. They are from the Indonesian areas, the Asian countries. But because of shipment and all the rest of it, the seeds dropped and started growing. But they are very aggressive. They begin to grow and displace the mangroves, the natural mangroves. And when we leave them to do that, what happens? That they will make us to lose our mangroves. And part of the impediment is that the fishes cannot grow under them, that like they will grow in the mangroves because of the way the roots of the mangrove is. They shields them. But the roots of the Nipah palm makes it a little bit impossible. If you go to Opopo, you go to even UOE at the background, the back, the water, you see a lot of these Nipah palms. They grow there. But why I'm saying that, okay, some of the pictures are not here. Okay, these are the things, a Nipah palm can be good. It's bad, but it means we'll have to intentionally get the good part of it. Okay, so what we're saying is that we can consciously, this thing ordinarily will look at it as a menace, but we can consciously say this area will control it and leave our mangrove so that our mangrove can continue to be useful to us. The other side, harvest that Nipah palm, use it to produce things, do even better than what they've done. And then it will be useful, it will generate revenue. People will come and you have to take them, oh, this is what we have done from A to B to C. And then on the other hand, is our mangrove. We've turned our mangrove to that, to that, to that. And in our mangrove, you know, things like oysters. Oysters grow on mangroves. There are different types. They have the ones that grow on rocks. They have the ones that produce pearls. But we don't have those here. The one we have are the mangrove ones. So what happens is that they are very sensitive to unhealthy environments. So we have to consciously make sure that the environment is healthy enough for them to grow. And you know, the West African coast, of which Nigeria has a long stretch, we have the richest body of shrimps and prawns. In fact, people come to steal. They use trawlers to scoop the things away. So we need to wake up to our responsibility. Our prawns are the best in the whole world, the quality of the prawns they have in West African Ocean. So in fact, there's some Chinese that are not interested. I'm saying this part because of my colleague, Commissioner of Information. They're interested, we're still trying to see how it works out. They're interested in coming up to have aquaculture for prawns and shrimps, and they will do it for a long acreage. It's not just for local consumption. They are anticipating to use it for export And so when we begin to have things we can export, we'll be able to generate foreign currencies. Our country will we'll have something to bargain. Because sometimes they say when they bring things, when the flights are going back, they're going back empty. So now we want them, when they're going back, let them go with something that they can also sell in their area. So we had some, I just mentioned a few, management and mitigation of Nepal palms. We will say that we harness the potential benefits while mitigating the negative impacts with careful management. And the thing that we could do that is probably do research. I'm glad that my brother and sister, the two professors that are here, are into a lot of research. We can look at how we can do genetic modifications to get Nepal palms that are not so invasive. You can get the ones that they don't spread the way these ones spread uncontrollably. That will help us to be able to tap the good and control them from damaging the environment in terms of the mangroves. We can have sustainable harvesting. We develop guidelines for sustainable harvesting and utilization of the Nepal products to ensure economic benefits without economic harm. So while we're doing that, it's going to be a win-win situation. So the community engagement, we can involve the local communities in management practices and creating awareness about the impacts of the invasive species and potential economic opportunities. So when they have idea, they buy into whatever you're doing, and it makes it all-inclusive for everybody. So, yeah, sorry, these pictures were about the impact of effluents. I had mentioned that. When you see I don't have a pointer, but you see that is a pipe that they piped under. It's effluent, they're pouring it into water. And what happens that, because it's an effluent, it has a lot of heavy metals and other things that are byproducts of what they've produced. In that process, it damages the ecosystem. Ideally, they're supposed to treat those effluents before they are emptied into the ocean so that it's not as toxic as it will be. So we have to be conscious, wake up. The Commission of Information is here, Youth Development. The Ministry of Environment can, with the Ministry of Health, they can have a committee that goes for monitoring, even if it's unannounced monitoring, maybe once in a while or once a month, to pick up the samples and see what is happening, and have meeting advocacies with the companies. Another thing that can impact on our water and fisheries and things we have in our water is dynamite fishing, where people use dynamite to kill fish. You know, it's bad enough with the pollutions around it, and then you now use dynamite. What happens is that it poisons the fish that is being harvested and sold. It also affects the ecosystem, because it will even kill beyond the single one that they're killing. And then it will also affect all the marine species that are there. So we now said here that dynamite fishing, an illegal and destructive method of catching fish using explosives, has severe consequences for marine ecosystem and the blue economy, especially in the regions like River State. So we need to consciously carry advocacy. People may not know, but you have to tell them, even either through the villages, through the communities. I'm lucky that he's there and happy that His Excellency is here. Oh, His Majesty is here represented. I will find out that by letting people know, because some of them don't know, they don't fully appreciate the damage, but when they are told, I'm sure their attitude will be different. So we look at the value to attract investment and leverage River State. So we showcase competitive advantages. We need to highlight the strategic location of River State as a gateway to the Niger Delta and its well-developed port infrastructure. They say if you have to showcase yourself, it's all about packaging. You let people know the values you have and how you can take advantage of those values. You know, with the number of major rivers that we have and rivulets, we can do a great lot more with blue economy. Of course, and I'm glad that the Minister of Blue Economy is interested in the outcome of this meeting, so that it will be nice for them to know that River State should be positioned in the forefront when they're doing anything that has to do with blue and marine economy. So we can also look at regulatory policy framework, because there has to be a policy. Where there is no policy, people do things and get away with it. So at least people get to be conscious of the fact that government knows, and people working around government know what it is. In a sense, that will even create a job, because you need to have many people doing the work, generating the data, doing the research, and pulling out the results, and having a roundtable meeting with those companies to let them know that it's no longer business as usual. You should do that which is right, and so that we can forge ahead positively. So we can leverage on existing industries. We need to expand into oil and gas services by developing services related to oil and gas industry in logistics, environmental management, and capacity building. That has to be, as you build your capacity, you begin to grow bigger and bigger, and it trickles down and permeates down. We need to look at infrastructure improvements. We need to enhance port facilities, upgrading our local jetties. Sometimes you go in on the jetties, especially outside the main cities, you're so scared that you might slip and fall into water. And actually, people have actually fallen into water, sliding through that. So we should give a facelift. He is not here, but I think I want to commend Honorable Chief Adokie Amiesimaka. If you go to Konoju is in Okrika. He's built a beautiful jetty for his people. He donated it. This is his donation to his people. And I was so impressed when we went for the opening ceremony. It was in the evening when the lights are on, you think you're in Liverpool in the UK. Those are the kind of things you're saying. You know, we give back, we should give back quality. When we give back, people should also take a leave of it. This is amazing. Sorry, I should have put a picture here. You'll be amazed. You won't believe that that jetty is in River State and it's in Okrika. So, we also look at capacity building. Of course, we mentioned that there is a need. You know, when people have the capacity, they are trained, whatever they do it better. And I said to someone that even if you want to be a trader, when you go to school and you trade, your style of trading will be different. So it's good to build the capacity and expand that capacity as you move on. So we'll look at the regulatory and policy framework. That is a thing that will be looked into, because we now want to do it as an international level. If we have to do that, then we should have policies, we should have framework, so that if you're here, like somebody used to tease us that when we get outside Nigeria, everybody takes a cue, everybody does the right thing. The moment the plane lands, and we're in Nigeria. In Nigeria, the story changes. So what we're trying to say, no, let's have a policy, let's have a framework. Let's begin to educate our people through advocacies to know what to do and how to go about it. And we're going to be a great city, a great country by doing that. So we said there should be to offer incentives to investors, such as tax relief, subsidies, and grants of businesses. And you will know that the administration of Sir Simnalai Fubara is already looking into this aspect. You're aware of the loans. It's almost interest-free loan, because when you're paying single figure for your loans as interest and you have to pay over 20 years, my goodness, as good as free. So he's made that available, 4 billion naira worth, which has already been distributed to people as a way of enhancing their businesses, as a way of ease of doing businesses as well. He has also directed that papers that come to his table, when once the things have been done and they're right, he wouldn't keep them for more than 24 hours. These are things he's doing, and he has also or that they will look into issue of double taxing, or multiple taxing, so that when we do that, that would add to ease of doing business. People will begin to appreciate that. Listen, I calculate it's not you take this, take that, take that. She said, no, we don't need to double tax people. So all that is what government is doing as a way of making the environment conducive for people to do business. So we look at issues of talk about government. It's wonderful. There are many more things that will unfold as we move on. So we have the public-private partnership. It is the time to encourage PPP, and we must tell you that it's of interest that from the summit we had, the economic summit we had, honestly, a lot of investors that are coming, they are coming with their money. All they are asking the state to do is provide the environment, i.e. maybe the land, i.e. maybe to ensure security. But all the others, they will bring and fund it. And of course, you will say, oh, what is that? Oh, no, they will get back their money with time. But at least the takeoff is not going to be a burden to the state. So that's why we would encourage a PPP in any of these areas that will put us in the limelight. So we look at the adoption of global best practices and localization. So there is a need to embark on this transformative journey. We must remain cognizant of the importance of adopting global best practices. When you want to compete with people outside here, you also have to raise your standard. It's like, for example, our fashion designers, before that they were not too should I say too good, too excited, but now they compete very, very well with designers all over the world. You will see a lot of Rivers, Bayelsa, and Nigerian men and women, they go outside to display what they have made, and people order from Europe, from America, from all over the world. So what we're trying to say is that when you improve in yourself, you can compete with anybody, anywhere. Don't feel intimidated. All we need to do is to be trained on what to do, and I believe we'll put in our best. So furthermore, we must establish a robust framework for monitoring and evaluating progress towards industrial development through the marine and blue economy. You know, anything you do that doesn't have a monitoring component, many a times you will have problems of it actually succeeding. Because when you don't monitor it, people do things without control. But when there is monitoring, there are yardsticks they can keep to. There are things that will make them to be in order to ensure that we do not fail. I want to believe that as we go ahead, as we begin to explore things that marine and blue economy offers, it's going to be a total narrative. The trajectory will change. The global picture will change. Because we cannot keep, we'll go to the shop and we'll buy shrimps that have been packaged in the shores of America and Canada, and they ship to us. No, we want the story, the narrative to change. Let's package and send to them. And I want to believe that that is possible. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm almost finishing. Ladies and gentlemen, the path ahead is clear. By harnessing the power of our marine and blue economy assets, we can unlock a future of prosperity, sustainable development, and economic resilience for Rivers State. However, this journey cannot be undertaken alone. Rather, it will require the concerted efforts of government, industry players, local communities, and international partners working in harmony to achieve our shared vision. Like when the Chinese people that had a chat with us about what they want to put up in Opobo on prawns and shrimps, it's a simple thing they want to do, put the mods, cage the things, and that's it. And it's nothing outside this world. And you find out that when you harness that and you get people to do that, it's very interesting. Even in the 6th NDDC Council that was held in Asaba last month, part of the emphasis was on blue and marine economy. It was on the fact that there is this new way of fishing that they will put floating nets. The picture is not here. The floating nets, and then the fish get there and they are trapped. Although somebody cracked a joke that people can go and steal them. No problem. When they steal them and find out that it works out, you have more people doing it, and they begin to know that you can do it and grab yours yourself. So I'm sure NDDC would also take that up, the aspect on blue economy of interest, because they exhibited a lot of interest when that paper was presented. So let us embrace this opportunity to transform our state into a shining beacon of industrial growth and environmental stewardship. Together, we can navigate the waters of progress, leaving a lasting legacy for generations to come. Finally, I urge us to reflect on the immense potential that lies within our marine and coastal resources. Let us be the catalysts for change, the champions of sustainable development, and the architects of prosperous future for real estate. Thank you for listening.